Hello, this is Grant from the DCP company. Today we're going to be talking about how to install a hard drive into a CRU enclosure. This is useful if you're going to be sending a physical DCP to a theater. Just keep in mind that the DCP hard drive does need to be formatted before you put it into this enclosure. DCPs won't work with standard consumer computer hard drive formatting, so you'll need to format it with Linux ext2 or ext3 formatting. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us at thedcpcompany.com. All right, so first thing we'll do, we will open up the enclosure. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver, and you'll see there are two matching screws on each side of the enclosure. The first one right by the release hinge, and then we'll flip it over. There's a matching screw here. I'll just loosen this up, and then usually what I'll do is just put a fingernail here and lift this up, and that opens up the enclosure. Now this enclosure can fit several different types of hard drives. It can fit a 3.5-inch drive, can also do 2.5-inch drive, whether it's a hard drive, spinning disk, or an SSD. Both will fit, and you'll see that there are different screw holes for each size drive. The enclosure also comes with different screws depending on which type of drive you have. So these silver ones are for a 3.5-inch hard drive. It also comes with two gold screws if you're using a 2.5-inch drive. Now I'm storing my drive in one of these CRU drive boxes. They're an anti-static storage box that you can use to house your drives. They're great. They're not sponsoring us. It's just something that's very handy to have. They don't cost too much, and they come with a little spot here for a label. Keep in mind that you do want to make sure that you do not have any static electricity on your body. Make sure to ground yourself or use anti-static gloves. Now you want to just find the data port here. That's the SATA connection. We'll just put that so it's resting right in here. I'm always really careful. Just very gently put this in here vertically like this. Let the drive sit down, and then I'll turn it like this. You'll see it will make contact with the SATA port there, and we'll just give it a push, and it will lock in. You'll hear it lock in. Excellent. Now I'll just put this hinge back on. You'll see there's a little tab here, and that will line up with a small divot in the enclosure. So we'll just line that up just like that, and we'll let that sit. So again, I'll put the screw, put it back, same thing with this screw. Now, why do I put this on before I actually secure the drive? Because I need to flip this over to secure the drive with screws, and if I don't have that lid screwed on back there, the drive could actually flop out. There's nothing holding it in place except for the SATA connection. So you can actually bend the SATA if you don't have something supporting the drive here. So I put the lid back on, I flip the enclosure, and now I can put the drive screws in here. Now you'll see that if your drive is lined up perfectly, the SATA connection will be here, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 screw holes that line up perfectly with the drive. Now if you're using a 2.5-inch drive, the screw holes will be in different spots. So just keep that in mind, and again, you're going to be using different screws. So we'll put these screws in here, and we want to make sure we don't over tighten these. They really don't need to be that tight. Don't want to strip it. All right, you are all set with your CRU. The last thing to do is just to put it into a carrying case. I'm using one of these Pelican cases with the foam that you can cut out. It's a pretty standard way to transport CRU drives. We'll just let this fit in here, perfect, and you're all set. Keep in mind, you have to be really careful with the fragile hard drives that you're going to be using here. The reason that they are stored in an enclosure and then in a foam Pelican case is because they're extremely fragile. So be sure you know what you're doing. Practice this, maybe with some drives you don't care about first before you actually do it on the real thing. And again, if you are using this for a DCP, you need to make sure that it is formatted properly before you install it into this enclosure. Thanks so much for watching, and if you need any help with your DCP needs, reach out to us at thedcpcompany.com. We provide Hollywood-quality DCPs at indie filmmaker prices. Thanks so much for watching, and happy filmmaking.